done cutting in the trim, but before I go back in time and show you how we got here, I thought I'd talk a little bit about fiberboard. So the advantage of using fiberboard instead of something like pine 1x4s for a project like this is that it's very homogeneous and dimensionally accurate. You can get really clean lines with it. The disadvantage of fiberboard is going to be that what you see is what you get. If this was pine 1x4s and I wanted to change the dimensions of it, I could say run it through the thickness planer and get it a little bit thinner, or I could rip it down in the table saw, or I could run a router over the edge if I wanted a round over or a chamfer. With this stuff, that's not really an option. I tried using a blade like this. It's a fiber cement blade on a skill saw. I found that it overheated pretty quickly, wobbled a lot, threw dust everywhere, really just wasn't doing a good job. The best option I found turned out to be pretty simple, just an old rusty handsaw. You don't want to use your nice fine woodworking saw because you're going to be pretty hard on the blade. So then I just gave it a couple licks with the file, and it's a nice, clean, straight cut. The best part about doing it this way is that it produces a minimal amount of dust, which fiberboard contains silica, which is terrible to breathe. I'm using 2-inch finishing nails just to show you how well this works here. Just pop a few nails. That's actually very secure. I was kind of impressed by that. I thought it would be easier to pull these through, but it works really well. And now just to show you how well it works on the corners. So if I was doing this with pine, there's a good chance that some of these nails would catch the grain and change directions mid-flight and end up coming out through the face of this board. But with this stuff, since there's no real grain pattern, they go in pretty straight. Okay, so the objective is to trim out this shed in a way so that it looks like it belongs with this building, or at least doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. The building is a 1916 Tudor style or Swiss chalet, depending on who you ask. I use typical 2x4 framing and 1/2-inch plywood sheathing. The plan is to use fiber cement planks to cover the joints and corners, and also to mimic the decorative woodwork of the main building. You know what we forgot to do, Rob? Build this shed where it's supposed to go.
Yeah. It is a thing that we neglected pretty heavily.
Yeah. We'll figure that out later.
Just